And I'll say it just once.
Go ahead.
Tell you what, we could have had a good life together. Fucking real good life. Had us a place of our own. But you didn't want it, Ennis. So what we got now is Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain is a 2005 Western romantic drama featuring two young cowboys, Jack Twist, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and Ennis Del Mar, played by Heath Ledger. This film follows Jack and Ennis and their relationship throughout their lives after spending a summer working together and watching the sheep on Brokeback Mountain. This film's core theme and message can be explained as simply as, this is a movie about the consequences that can occur as a result of living under the pressures of society to perform masculinity and reject homosexuality. But that's not what Brokeback Mountain is about. Brokeback Mountain is about Jack and Ennis and how these societal pressures impacted them. This movie is about telling the story of these two men and their lives and what happened to these two individuals. It wouldn't be inaccurate to say this movie covers topics of homosexuality and masculinity in the West, because it does. Ennis struggles with society's expectations of masculinity that he is expected to present, and Jack is what challenges these expectations of him directly for the first time. But at its core, Brokeback Mountain is a tragic love story that has haunted me long after watching it. And I think the main reason why I believe this movie to be so impactful is because of its writing. The dialogue in this movie is intentionally vague, misleading, and almost guaranteed to mean something else. The main explanation for this is the fact that the subject of this movie, Jack and Ennis and their love, was taboo and not discussed during this time period. More is said through glances and stares than actual words. Jack and Ennis rarely explicitly say their feelings out loud to one another, and even when their growing frustration with this suffocating situation reaches a point where they do finally explode and say what they're feeling, it still feels restrained.
You have no idea how bad it gets. You are too much for me, Ennis. You son of a horsey bitch. I wish I knew how to quit you.
This film takes place in the southern United States in the 1960s, which was historically violently homophobic. They have to keep quiet about what they feel. Even when they are at Brokeback Mountain, the one place they can be themselves and be together, they still don't feel safe saying exactly what they mean. Publicly admitting they were in love with each other was equal to a death sentence in the South, so most of what this story has to tell goes unspoken and is portrayed through misdirecting dialogue or non-verbally. The misleading dialogue doesn't just apply to Jack and Ennis's inability to be open with each other, but it also makes some scenes confusing in what exactly is going on. There's a scene where Ennis calls Jack's wife, Lorene, after learning of Jack's death.
Who? Who is this?
Ennis Del Mar, no buddy of Jack's.
The hunting buddy, I know that. Would've let you know what happened, but I wasn't sure about your name or address. Jack kept his friends' addresses in his head. Jack was pumping up a flat on the truck out on a back road when the tire blew up. The rim of the tire slammed into his face, broke his nose and jaw, and knocked him unconscious on his back. By the time somebody come along, he drowned in his own blood. He used to say he wanted his ashes scattered on Brokeback Mountain, but I wasn't sure where that was.
Oh man, we was herding sheep and Brokeback one summer. Back in '63.
Well, he said it was his favorite place. I thought he meant to get drunk. He drank a lot.
Thank you for your time. Sure, I'm sorry. We was good friends.
It is impossible to tell if Lorene is telling the truth here. Is she robotic in her delivery because she is numb after repeating the story of her husband's untimely death over and over again? She seems to not know who Ennis is or what Brokeback Mountain is, but she becomes choked up upon learning the context around her husband's favorite place. Is she connecting the dots between Jack and Ennis's relationship and the significance of the mountain to Jack? Is she upset because this was a real significant place to him that she never even knew of? How much does Lorene know? The lack of clarity in this scene was carefully manufactured. This scene was shot in two different ways, but still with the same dialogue. One where Lorene was aware of her husband's affair and she was lying, and one where she is simply recounting what she knows to be true. These two takes were then cut together to make this final product. While the truth in this movie is sometimes hard to discern, Jack and Ennis's relationship is made explicitly clear. The writing in this movie is what I believe pushes it over the edge from a great movie to arguably one of the best.